That's we're live. Let me just- I'd like to call the Anderson School District 5 Board of Trustees meeting to order. This is the actual public hearing for our 2024-25 proposed budget year. We'd like to welcome everybody to come to this. At this time, we would like Ms. Amy Hurd to present the budget for the upcoming fiscal year.
Just 1 second, we're trying to get it on your computers.
Oh, thank you. We're not gonna say the pledge?
We'll do that before the public. This is just a public hearing, then we'll do that next. Thanks for asking me that point. Check bounce to the internet company.
I know. No, we paid that.
While we're waiting, Mr. Griffith, you're joining us by phone. Can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay,
perfect.
thanks, John. I'd like to make a notation, John Griffith's in attendance via telephone. I assume he's at the beach. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I don't think that we're gonna be able to present it on your screens. Okay.
There's been problems over there, you know, to get the camera, phones and everything today. So they were talking about it at the county council meeting earlier.
All right.
Right down
All right, Dr. Kelly, Chairman Price, members of the board, good evening. This is our public hearing for the fiscal year 24-25 budget information. Not much, or actually any information has changed from our board meeting in May, but we do need to share this information with the public, so we're gonna go through a few highlights. Our budget for fiscal year 24-25 is a balanced budget. The information on the screen and that you received at the last board meeting is based on the Senate version of the state budget. They are currently in conference committee, and we have not received any information. We still are hearing that conference committee will meet June 18th through the 20th, and information will come out after that day on what they decide. We have been told since the last board meeting that the Board of Economic Advisors out of Columbia has met, and they have revised the revenue projections for next year. So the conference committee does have more money in the budget than the House or the Senate version when they were going through the budget. So they will have that money to allocate out. So additional money has been allocated that they could send to education or the other needs of the state. So we'll see how that goes. But the information that we shared with you in May that we also put in the newspaper is that the general fund revenues will be $153.6 million next year. That is no millage increase for next year. And the general fund expenditures will also, since it's a balanced budget, be the $153.6 million. That is a 3.69% increase over the prior year. And as you guys know, when we are looking at millage, the state tells us what state consumer price index inflation rate is, and that is 4.12% for the state. And then the Anderson 5 portion was a little over 1.5%. So we are well under what the inflation rate is for Anderson School District 5 on our budget for next year. Some highlights are we did receive additional state revenue that will go to our aid to classrooms, which is typically teacher pay, fringe, and our tier 3. Again, not asking for millage increase from the property tax standpoint. And then we went through our budget and looked at both revenue and expense side to see over a trend analysis, could we increase our revenue line items? And those are the line items that we did increase. Our property tax due to increased assessments, our fee in lieu of, just looking at previous years. We didn't increase it as much as what we received this year because I talked to the county treasurer and they went back and did an adjustment from 2 years ago. So that was a one-time payment that came in this year from an adjustment for 2 years ago. So we didn't want to add that in. Additional county equalization, that kind of goes up with that property tax revenue line item. It's based on assessments. Our manufacturer's depreciation, we'll talk about that some when we talk about our financial statements, but just our revenue has come in well over the last couple years there, and we want to increase that, as well as our indirect cost. So some expenditure highlights are we do have an employer-only health insurance and retirement increase, so employees will not see an increase in their rates for health insurance. There's also not going to be an increase in the percentage of retirement that we take from employees for retirement. We do have a property and casualty increase. We've added additional staff at the middle of this year, but that was done after last year's budget, so we needed to add it into the budget. We are proposing a $2,400 per sale increase on the teacher salary schedule. That's about a little over a 5% raise for a brand new teacher, and it slightly goes down a little bit as you go with more credentials and more years. But even the bottom, even the most tenured with a doctorate and the most years is a little over 3%. Our teaching assistants, we've added $1,500 per sale. That's a little over a 9% raise for them. Bus drivers have gotten a 2.75% increase on the state bus driver scale that we added to our scale because we're much higher than the state bus driver scale as to what we pay. All other employees that are not on one of those categories got a 2% increase in their salary schedule, and then all eligible employees will also receive a step increase. We did increase the sub-budget for next year due to the change in board policy on personal days. What we did increase in the budget is only due to certified teachers because we don't really get subs for our non-certified staff. We did add a multilingual learner teacher to the budget, and then as we did our teacher-pupil ratio calculations across the district, we were able to save 1.4 FTEs when we looked at elementary, middle, and high. So in summary, our budget, we talked about this, that we looked at the revenue accounts and the expenditure accounts. So later in the regular board meeting, we will be asking for second reading of the budget. And then as always, when we get information, no matter if it's increase in revenue, decrease in revenue, when we receive information, we will absolutely make sure that you guys get that information.
Thank you, Ms. Hurd.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Hurd.
Ms. Hurd. All right, any public comments on the budget hearing at this time? No one signed up to address the board for this. All right, do I have a motion we adjourn from the public hearing?
So move.
Got a motion, Mr. Kay, we adjourn from the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Leverett. Any discussion? All in favor, we adjourn from the public hearing? So moved. Public hearing is over. Thank you. All right, I'd like to call the Anderson School District 5 regular scheduled board meeting to order. At this time, would you please rise? Mr. Kay, will you lead the invocation, please, sir?
Thank you, sir.
Let us pray. Eternal kind Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to assemble this appointed moment, this appointed place. We come with thanksgiving on our lips, thanking you for allowing us to see the end of another scholastic year. We thank you for the many blessings that you have bestowed upon us. We ask you to bless the Anderson 5 family, watch over and protect each and every student and family that's represented in Anderson 5. We ask you to watch over and protect all those throughout the summer. We know it's summertime, sometimes the crime rate increases, Father, but we understand that you have all power and you can regulate all things, and we thank you for that, Father. We ask you to bless us, grab us by the hand of the mind, let the decisions that we make be to your glory, and we ask these blessings in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Now for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
All right, has everyone had a chance? We had the agenda emailed out last week. Everybody had a chance to review it. Do we have a motion for approval of the agenda as presented?
Motion to approve the agenda?
Motion from Mr. Patrick. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Kay. Any discussion on the
Mr.
approval?
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Second.
Mr. Bradshaw, sorry. Sorry about that. I keep forgetting your name.
That's all right.
Any discussion on the agenda? All in favor of approving the agenda as presented? Right hand. Any opposition? So moved. All right, Dr. Kelly, recognition of excellence. And before you do this, I gotta do something special. I'm gonna take my jacket off so people can see. I do wear a Hannah shirt.
No, we are very excited tonight to be able to recognize our T.O. Hanna varsity boys team. They are back-to-back state champions, and so we are so excited for you, so proud of you. And we're going to ask Tommy Bell, wherever he might be, to come and introduce us to this wonderful, amazing team.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly, Chairman Price, and board members. It was another outstanding year for the golf team. It was a little different than last year where they played great at the state tournament and led pretty much from the get-go. This year, they were in third place going into day two and had to shoot an outstanding round. It's a really tough weather environment. It was stormy and rainy most of the day, and the boys played great, shot one of their better rounds. Ended up beating the two teams they were in contention with, beat both of them by about 15 shots.
That's great.
On day two, to end up kind of pulling away and winning the championship by about 10 shots. We have with us here this evening, and I'll call them up just to kind of go through. First off is junior Blake Hurd from the golf team, and then junior Caden Olsemer, and then sophomore Landon Smith, and then junior Tyler George, and then head coach Eric Bonna, and we also have our principal here this evening, Mr. Walter Mayfield.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Awesome, boys. Good.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Get another. Congratulations. Get another.
Once again, thank you very much. We have some gifts up here that came from the board. The flags that we will give these to the boys at their banquet at the end of the year. If you're not familiar, usually the winning on the 18th hole, the caddy takes the flag, and it's a big deal to golfers to get a flag they can hang up, so this is a very appropriate gift. We would also like to present the chairman one of our state championship flags that the players will also be presented with at their banquet this weekend. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bell.
Can we have this back up so we can take a picture?
Boys, y'all come up, back up this way and get one.
Or to do it in front of that.
We had the principal join them too, Mr. Mayfield.
Assistant Coach Mayfield.
Somebody stand in front.
Back.
Oh, I'm good. I'll get it on social media. Everybody squeeze in. Here we go.
All right, y'all look that way first and then look at me. All right, everybody look this way. Coach, don't step on it there.
Come on.
Step on it right there. All right, y'all hold tight for mamas.
This is good. All right.
Congratulations.
Great job. Keep it up.
We're going to have to name the lobby of my office the championship room for long.
I like it.
Again, thank y'all for this, and appreciate all the work for our coaches and all, and the players. I know that's just a state championship is so special, you can't take them for granted. We've been very lucky. Dr. Kelly started out with 3 state championships in her first year, so
That's great.
Pressure's on you now.
Well, you don't want to see me play golf, so.
They don't let me play either much. All right, opportunity for citizens to address the board. No one signed up. Anyone want to address the board? All right, now I would like to say thank you, Ms. Hurd, for the budget. I know one thing Dr. Kelly said last year, as soon as we started, she came up, we're not having a tax increase. And that makes Amy Hurd grit her teeth, but Dr. Kelly worked magic with the budget and cut, what, $2 million out of reoccurring expenses, so that's phenomenal. So let's give a round of applause to our crew. They've done a great job. All right. Y'all playing tricks on me. Y'all got my print low. A little small. Anyway, there we go. Thanks, sir. All right, action items. Our May 14th, 2024 board meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review those? Any discussion, questions? Do I have a motion we accept the May 14, 2024 board meeting minutes as presented?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we accept the May 14, 2024 board meeting minutes as presented.
Got a motion from Mr. K. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Usherwood. Any discussion on the May 14, 2024 board meeting minutes? All in favor of approving these? And any
Mr.
opposition? And Mr. Griffith, sorry, I didn't mean to overlook you, John. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm a yes on that.
I didn't see your hand. All right, so that passes as presented. The First Steps Partnership Board appointee.
Yes, so this, Chairman Price and distinguished board members, we did this in February. You all voted to recommend Dr. Ware to serve on the First Steps Advisory Board. We are required by the First Steps Reauthorization Act to do that. But as you know, we are very fortunate that Dr. Ware is going to help us and assist us and be the principal at West Market. So him taking that position, we need to recommend someone else. So I'm recommending to the board for you, if you agree, and you can vote on, for Jennifer Bufford. She will be our new Executive Director of Early Childhood and Elementary Education starting July 1. So I would like to recommend her to serve on the First Steps Board to take Dr. Ware's place.
Is that the champion?
No, that's a
This is a
different,
different one,
yes, sir.
All right, we've got a recommendation from Dr. Kelly Administration for Jennifer Bufford to be our First Steps Partnership Board appointee. Do I have a motion we approve this?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Bradshaw. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Leverett. Any discussion on this item? All in favor? No, any
I'm in
opposition?
favor.
John's in favor, all in favor, no opposition, so moved. Item C, our preliminary out-of-district tuition.
And I'm gonna ask Ms. Hurd if she'll come and present that to you at this time.
Good evening. As you guys know, we bring this forth to you in June, so we can start collecting that for the 24-25 school year. It is a calculation that we run based on a state formula. It looks at our property taxes, it looks at the number of students that we have, and then we calculate an in-district cost because we give a credit for folks that live in the district versus if they're coming from, if they live in the county versus if they're coming from outside of the county. So we went through that calculation this year, and you'll remember that we do this as a preliminary right now, and then after the audit, we go through and we do the final, and we bring that back to you in January of the following year after our audited numbers for year end. And if we do not charge families enough money for coming into the school district, then we do not go back and ask them for more money. But if our preliminary calculation is too high when we get the final numbers and we charge too much, then we absolutely go back and give those families the money back for what we did charge them. Additionally, if you live outside of the Anderson 5 zone and you would like to come into the zone, if you have property inside the school district in Anderson 5, then we also give you the credit for that. That again is in state law as well. So we ran through the preliminary calculations, and if you'll remember, there was a good bit of conversation among the board about what to do with out-of-district tuition. We looked at some other districts around us and talked about it, And just due to some, our assessments and things that we were looking at, the numbers came in really high for us to charge our families that were outside of the community wanting to come in. And we're already higher than our other 4 counterparts in Anderson. So it is our recommendation that we freeze it at the amount that we charged last school year, which is a little over $4,000. So that would be our recommendation for the preliminary out-of-district tuition. I cannot even imagine that it's gonna go down below that, because the calculation was it was gonna increase about $600 or $700. But we just didn't feel like that was prudent at this time to charge that much more money. Families may have more than one child that they're trying to bring into the district. We want it to be fair. And so it is our recommendation that we leave it where it is.
And Ms. Hurd, I'm correct, y'all do work with them that they can make payments toward
We
that,
do,
break it down?
yes. We try to do 2 payments, one before the first semester and one before the second semester, but we have made other arrangements with folks that, we had a family last year that had 3 students that were in the district from another district, and so that was a very large bill, so we let them do it in quarterly installments. So we do try to work with our families where we can on that.
Okay, thank you.
May I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
How many children do you have coming into this district that pays $4,000?
We have about 30, just slightly below 30 students.
Less than 30.
Hmm.
Okay, and with that, what, I bring my child to school,
Yes, ma'am.
and I'm paying you $4,148 if I live in the county, and if I live in the city?
No, ma'am, that is if you were to live outside of Anderson County. So like folks from Greenville that would like to come into Anderson 5 or Spartanburg or from Hartwell, or if they were coming in from outside of Anderson County. I've only known that we've ever had one person that came from Greenville over. Typically, it's folks within the 5, that was the other 4 districts that we get swapped back and forth. And some of our students do the same thing. Some of our students go to other districts 1 through 4. Superintendents both have to agree from the releasing district and the accepting district, so when our students leave, I mean, it's a mutual agreement among the districts.
So, Amy, just to clarify, we're charging this tuition for those that come in from outside the district.
Yes, sir.
Not the county, right.
That is, that is correct. They've come in from outside of the district, but it may be that they
Come
come
from
from outside of the county as well.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Just curious, I've never thought about, like with the lake here, could kids come from the Georgia side over here or not?
They can.
They can, okay, I probably don't have it, I'm just curious.
And we have about 4 students that their families have enough property inside the district that they don't have to pay, even though they live outside the district and they come in. But again, that's state regulation that we have to give them credit because they own property in Anderson 5.
Okay. Well, I just know years ago that became a problem with you still living somewhere else and coming to the school district. Okay.
All right, we've got a motion for the preliminary out-of-district tuition by Ms. Hurd. Do I have a,
Mr. Chairman, in light of the information presented by Ms. Hurd regarding our out-of-district tuition and the recommendation to freeze, I make a motion that we accept her recommendation.
I've got a motion from Mr. Kay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Burris. Any discussion? All in favor, right hand? John, you approve that?
Yep, I'm in favor.
All right, Mr. Griffith approves that. No opposition, so moved. All right, Dr. Kelly, policy provisions.
Yes, we have several policies that we are wanting to revise and present to you all tonight, so I'm going to ask Mr. Grant if he'll come forward for policy EF, school wellness. This is the first reading, actually. All right, Mr. Kavanaugh is coming forward, Director of Culinary. He's going to discuss with you the first reading of school wellness.
This year we received one of our annual USDA audits. They come every 5 years. We received an exemplary rating this year, which is always nice, especially from the director's standpoint. There was one recommendation from the Office of Health and Nutrition, OHS, from
God
Dr.
bless.
Seabrooks to update our wellness policy. The policy had last been addressed in about 2017 or 18. So what's in red on the policies that have already been presented to you are the changes. It's terminology. We're not actually changing any specific part of the policy. She asked us to update some of the terminology, be more specific in some areas, and also include more information about how we're going to report to the public. So we're in full compliance as is with our wellness policy. Dr. Seabrook simply requested that we make a few minor tweaks and upgrades.
All right, we've had a presentation of policy revision EF, school wellness. This is our first reading. Have a motion, we accept the first reading of this policy revision.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Patrick. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bradshaw. Any discussion on policy EF?
I'd like to point out one thing.
Yes, sir.
On this. Letter E, application for free or reduced price lunches are sent home to all families. That's due to the hard work of that department that has secured a grant that all children in District 5 and teachers on a couple of days are actually receiving free lunch and free breakfast. Something that the board really wanted to have done and is now being done in our district.
And I've had a lot of thanks over that.
Yeah,
Yes.
Really,
yeah.
truly.
I think the public appreciates it.
Anything you can do to save these parents a little money and the teachers,
Yeah.
it's,
No child can eat with, can learn with
Thank you,
a,
Mr. Bradshaw. William
empty
Ritchie,
belly.
Willie Ritchie in our office was a huge push behind making all those numbers work for us.
yeah.
Please convey our thanks for that.
all right, I've got a motion, a second by Mr. Patrick, and a second by Mr. Bradshaw. Any other discussion?
The only discussion that I have that where you have after-school sports and things and what the children can do, activity, and it was talking about something about riding bikes to school and all. I know in one of the communities you have a nice gym, whatever, out for exercise and all. Is there any way that the district could have that open in the afternoon for children and close whenever the janitors leave that elementary school?
Which school, Ms. Redmond?
Nellie Forest has it.
I'll check into it. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that.
I wouldn't want it open all night and all like that, but if it's for after-school children,
Okay.
could they go in that facility and play, and then because at one time they was leaving around 7. The
So
janitors.
you're talking about the YMCA, the children that stay at the YMCA?
No,
No.
just children in the community.
Oh, I see. I see.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
Okay.
Just children in the
All right.
community.
Yeah, I'll check on that, Ms. Lipton.
Thank you, Ms. Leverett. Any other discussion? All in favor of this policy EF, school wellness, first reading, raise your right hand. Any opposition?
My hand.
And
my hand's
John,
up.
Mr. Griffith agrees as well. All right, so moved on that one. Next policy is GCD, professional staff vacation holidays. Our first reading, is that right?
Good evening, Chairman Price, Dr. Kelly, and members of the board. We have a couple of policies here that I wanted to review with you tonight. We have just a few changes with those. You will notice the last time we looked at this was not too long ago, but I inadvertently left off where we needed to take out the last sentence that is before the adopted dates of the second page on this GCD, professional staff vacations and holidays. And that is, in order to receive pay for an approved holiday, an employee must have been employed for 30 calendar days prior. We do not pay our employees on holidays. They are working a certain set of days during the school year, and they are paid for those days and can take those days as vacation, but we do not require any employee to work on a holiday. So that includes GCD for professional staff and vacations, and it is also in GDD, support staff vacations and holidays. So both of those have the same verbiage on the second page, and we would like to remove that verbiage to make that accurate.
Okay. We have
Hey,
yes,
hey, I have a comment real quick on that too.
Okay, Mr. Griffin.
I think there's a typo in that, the staff vacation one, professional staff. Look at under 12-month personnel, the third bullet point, it says less than 5 years will to 10 days of vacation. It's supposed to say will earn instead of will to.
I'll be happy to change that.
All right, she's gonna change that, Mr. Griffith. Thank you for pointing that out.
I'll speak on this legal stuff.
We like free legal advice. No offense, Allison.
And then I believe it's correct in GDD, if I'm looking at it
Right.
here.
And it's, okay, it is correct in GDD.
Yes, sir.
When it asked about vacation, that's on that first page too, I guess that's under 12 months, it says to arrive to be best interest of the district and the individual employees. Who are those people
Which
that
bullet?
can tell you? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth bullet, under 12-month personnel.
Mutually arrived at. In other words, we would not really want folks not to be here unless it was an extenuating circumstance on the very first day of school. When we open school, we'd like to have all of our employees available that day. But some folks also have special circumstances. They may have a wedding, you know, right before that, they're
Or
getting
death.
married.
Mhm.
And we work with those folks.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's mutually agreed upon between that supervisor and that employee.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. I just didn't want someone to have an emergency, and
No, no,
because
ma'am.
it came in on that time, it's that I say, no, you can't have it.
No, no, ma'am, we work with folks on that.
Ms. Elrod, is the current policy only to allow 15 days carryover? Is this the difference?
It does allow 15 days carryover, but we've also asked everyone to get that down to 30 from what they've had over previous years. So the most they could take forward would be 45. Am I saying that correctly, Ms. Hurley?
You can carry over 30 days, you've earned 15 a year.
So right now, they can carry over 30?
That's what we updated in September of last year, was that we updated it to be able to carry over 30 days. And then our most tenured staff can, earn 15 days a year. It's based on how many years you work with the school district.
So the difference in this tonight would be then,
There would not be anything for that, no ma'am. It would not impact that at all.
And this is not days that's borrowed, you know, people have to borrow some days and stuff like from the bank.
That's sick leave, so this
Okay.
does not impact their sick leave,
Okay.
no ma'am.
Any other discussion? All right, we've got a presentation from policy GCD, professional staff vacation holidays, first reading, presented by Ms. Elrod,
And GDD, I think.
Yes.
and GDD,
Yes, sir.
excuse me, and sports staff vacation holidays, first reading as well. Any other discussion? Do I have a motion to approve for first reading of this?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Kelly. All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Leverett. All in favor of these policy updates, first reading? John, you in favor?
I'm in favor.
Okay, any opposition? So moved. All right, policy GBJ, personnel records and files, first reading.
So as many of you may know, we have gone to a lot of record keeping in HR online. And we have personnel files online, we have worked with Ms. Hannah to make sure that we're legally covered by having our records that employees can get to their own personnel files if they so choose. They sign electronic contracts, any information, we sent out benefit statements this year in the last month or so where they could actually see how much the district was providing in benefit coverage to them. And so that is a total package that they see on what the district spends on them as an employee. So we would like to add to this policy for GBJ personnel records and files, the statement under the first bullet under additions to the personnel file that says signatures may be electronic or through email, since we have gone to a totally electronic platform here.
So that's really all we're approving, that
That's
they
all
can do
we're doing,
electronic
yes.
or sign electronic or through email.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we've got a presentation by Ms. Elrod on policy GBJ, personnel records and files, to allow electronic signing and email confirmation, first reading. Do I have a motion for that? Motion by Ms. Usherwood, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Patrick. Any discussion on this?
This problem with performance, evaluation, and complaints are suggest for improvement by the places, the personnel file unless it meets the following requirements. Then it says down there, but if somebody has has a complaint about me, and you put it in, you have it in my file, right?
Only if we have met and we have talked about that issue and we have come up with a plan on how we would address that. You would be aware of that. We would not just put something in your file without your knowledge.
And that can all be accessed electronically? Okay.
Electronically, every
Okay.
employee would have access to their
Okay.
file.
Yes, sir, Mr. Kay.
Ms. Elrod, if I'm correct, a person before a notation is placed in their file, they have to agree as well, is that correct?
Not
So if you
just-
meet with me,
If you meet with me, I may document that we've met.
right,
Yes,
but
sir.
if I choose not to agree to have something placed in my file, all legally that you can do is document that we met, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Do you need to add to that?
Leave it in your file.
And the district can add it to the file. What is added is that the employee did not agree with it.
Thank you.
But the actual concerns are added to the file still. You just don't have to agree.
Right,
Who would ever agree?
right, I understand.
With the concern, but yes.
Thank you, Ms.
And they have an opportunity to respond in writing
Right.
to
Okay.
that.
Thank you
Yes.
very
And
much.
that's added into the file as
Yes,
well?
sir.
Okay.
Thank
That
you.
response is, yes, sir.
Thank you, Harry.
Yes.
Any other discussion? Motion to approve this?
Mr. Chairman, I think we have a,
Do I
we
have
have
a
a
second?
it is motion and second.
Motion's in second. All in
Yes.
favor of this revision, first reading? Mr. Griffith, you in favor?
Yeah, I'm in favor.
Okay. Any opposition? So moved. All right, policy EBCB, safety plans and drills, second reading.
Yes, so this is the second reading. We presented the first reading last month. No changes have been made to the policy. So our recommendation is to approve the policy, but we will definitely have Mr. Grant come if there's any discussion.
Anybody have any questions on this?
Safety first.
All right, we've got a recommendation for second reading of EBCB, safety plans and drills, a second reading. Do I have a motion we approve this policy?
I make a motion we approve.
I've got a motion by Mr. Bradshaw, a second by Ms. Leverett. Any other discussion? All in favor? Mr. Griffith, you in favor?
Yeah, I'm in favor. And I appreciate the district being proactive on these things.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
All right, no one opposes, so moved. All right, our fiscal year 25 proposed budget presentation, second reading approval.
Yes, so we heard from Ms. Hurt earlier from the public hearing, and we're recommending the approval of our second reading of the budget, 24-25 school
All right,
year.
we've got a recommendation from Dr. Kelly for the fiscal year 25 proposed budget as presented by Ms. Hurd for the second reading approval.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I make the motion that we approve the continuing resolution for the general fund operating budget to be enacted if the state does not adopt a budget by June 30th of '24.
So moved.
We're ahead of that. We're ahead. Hang on, you're ahead of us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept the budget as presented by Ms. Hurd in the public hearing, and that we approve on second reading that budget that was proposed.
All right, I've got a motion by Mr. Kay, proposed budget presentation and reading for second reading approval. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Usherwood. Any discussion on the fiscal year 25 proposed budget for second reading approval? All in favor? Mr. Griffith?
Yeah, I'm in favor.
All right. So moved. Now, Mr. Bradshaw, continuing that's like the actor jumps ahead of his line. Barney Fife, that's what we're going.
I'm always a step ahead.
That's right, that's right.
Continuing resolution for general fund operating budget.
This is just in the event that, as Ms. Hurd said, they are meeting right now in conference committee. So if they were not to pass the budget by June 30th, then what we're recommending is that we continue with the resolution of using our current budget until it is passed by the state.
All right.
I'm not gonna make it now.
All right, we've got a recommendation for the continuing resolution for general fund operating budget, proposed by Dr. Kelly.
Now, Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that we approve the continuing resolution for the general fund operating budget to be enacted if the state does not adopt a budget by June 30th of 2024.
Do I have a motion to accept this?
I've got a second.
Motion for Mr. Bradshaw,
Second.
Second from Mr. Patrick. Any discussion on this? So moved. Continuing resolution for the general fund operating budget passes unanimous. Mr. Griffith?
For that too.
Yeah, Mr. Griffith, sorry. All right, moving on. Dr. Kelly, Superintendent's report.
Yes, I just wanted to
Yes.
give you a
Oh, I did? I'm sorry. Apologize. Didn't have a vote on that. My apologies. Any opposition? So moved. My apologies. All right, now, Dr. Kelly, our superintendent's report, please, ma'am.
Yes, sir. All right, so I want to give you an update on our cluster choice. The application closed on May 31st, so that past weekend. And I can't thank our team enough. Our team has worked very diligently and intentionally working through all of the applications. We had a total of 399 applicants. So 238 of those were for elementary students wanting cluster choice, and then 161 were from our middle school students wanting a cluster choice. We were able to offer 231 students our cluster choice spot without using the lottery. So they wanted space, the space was available, and we were able to send them the acceptance letter and email. We had 267 out of 399 who were offered cluster choice. So that's about 2/3 of the applicants were offered. So 2 out of 3 students who applied were able to go into their choice. We did the lottery today because we did have a lottery, and we have, we have 89 students who had to enter the lottery for 36 spots. We had 36 spots in some of our elementary schools and a few of the grade levels, and then Southwood. We had to do that. So we did a lottery today with that. Those students that were chosen through the lottery system received an email today, and their letter will be coming in the mail. All students that were accepted through cluster choice, their parents will be attending a parent choice meeting on June 13th, and this is where we'll go through the protocol, what we're doing, how we're doing it, and things like that. So that will happen on June 13th. We're having one at 11:30 and one at 5:30 to accommodate our parents so that they can choose a time that works best for them. So wanted to thank you for that. Want to thank you for your support with that. I think that's really a benefit to our families and our parents, giving them choice, and I just thank you for that. I know that was something new and different we wanted to do, and I appreciate your support on that, but I wanted to give you an
Thank you,
update.
Dr. Kelly. Thank you.
Yes. All right, I will ask Amy to come on up and talk about our monthly financial reports.
All right, I will be brief since I know that we've talked about finances a good bit in this meeting already. The financial information that you had in your packet that was mailed out last week is as of May 31st. It was a quick turnaround for us to get it to you last Friday, and it's for us to be so early in the month. But we did get everything reviewed and calculated. And just a couple of notes, as you will see, our property tax revenue has exceeded the budget for the year. And I did talk to the county treasurer, Mr. Price. We did get the enterprise money
Okay.
again this year. So that this will be 2 years that we did get it, which is good. That is a nice chunk of change. And as you'll remember that when I talked to him last year, the company likes to move it around in the state to different counties. I don't know if they shop rates. Nobody really knows why they move it around, but they typically don't leave it in a county more than 1 year, but we have been the lucky recipients of it 2 times, so that is very good. And then as we talked about with the budget, your manufacturer's depreciation account, the state actually is calculating that a little differently in the last 2 years, and so we've gotten a lot more money than we had budgeted, so we have adjusted next year's budget based on the last 2 years and in this calculation. Makes me a little nervous. We call the state and we say, hey, we've got all this extra money in manufacturer's depreciation, and they're like, yeah, we're calculating that different, and it'll stay as long as we have money. So it's not a real calculation. It's kind of something I'm just kind of dependent on the state on. I'm like, well, we think we're going to have enough money next year, because I'm fixing to ask our board to adjust their budget, and they said that as of right now, they don't see that that is changing. They think the state has enough funds for us to continue to get that. So I do feel good about where we are. So that is another one that has exceeded our budget that we have adjusted for next year. Again, we adjusted property taxes for next year. We've looked at kind of all of these, and really, as of May 31st, we've almost exceeded most of our revenue budgets for the year. I know we only have 1 month left, but that is a good thing. There are a few that we still have money to come in to meet the budget, but we're doing really well on the revenue side of things. Expenditures, it's the end of the year. We're spending to get ready for to close out this school year and to get ready for next school year. Also, as you guys know, our staff is pretty much has left unless you are a 12-month personnel, but they continue to get paid through the end of July. So even after June, we still are accruing expenses back in the month of July, back to June. So our teachers still have 2 payments in June and 2 payments in July that will go against this year's budget. So it may look like there's still a good bit of expense left in the budget, but we have a lot of expenses in July that actually apply to this budget that get accrued back. So just a reminder on that, if you see something major. There are some accounts that, well, like Mr. Price and Dr. Kelly talked about, there's $2 million worth in this budget that will not be there next year. So we do know that money is in this budget. Maybe some of it has been spent, maybe some is sitting there. It may be that we set aside money and then other funds came in and we didn't need those. You know, a lot for this current year. We've had ESSER funding, so we've been able to move some things over to the ESSER funding to leave vacancies and budget availability in this year's budget that we won't have in future years. So everything that doesn't have money in it this year, there may be a circumstance why we kept it for next year, but I can assure you that we literally looked at every single account in this budget to see what we could do for next year. So I feel good as to where we are for the year. We've had a good year this year, and we'll close out strong. The schools closed out strongly. We're still working with them. They have their financial staff there about another week, and we'll continue to work with them getting their school year closed out. Our sales tax numbers are still strong. For the month of March that we received in May, Anderson 5, the total payment was $1.269 million, and of that, $253,000 went to debt relief and $1 million over for our capital projects. And that's $7,000 more than the same time last year, and it's $88,000 more than last month. So again, sales tax is coming in strong. We're a little more than halfway through that process, and it has been very helpful to us to reduce our debt millage, and to allow us the availability to spool up some money for capital projects that we're doing throughout the district. Just a reminder, those had to be approved in the bond referendum that was approved back in 2014. So it's pretty open-ended for capital-related projects, but that is something that we do look at anytime that we spend capital money, is that it was approved with the voters and written in the bond referendum. So we're in good shape. We'll continue to update you at year end. You guys know that we still get revenue and expenses through about August that we'll deal with, and our auditors will come in at the end of October and stay with us through Thanksgiving to audit these books, and then you'll get that presentation in January of next year. Thank you.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Hurt. Thank you. All right. At this time, I need a motion. We go into executive session for section 30-4-70A1, discussion of employment, appointment, compensation, promotion, demotion, discipline, or release of an employee or employees regulated by a public body, superintendent evaluation, and 2024-25 personnel recommendations. Do I have a motion? We go into executive session.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. K. Do I have a second?
Second.
By Ms. Burris. All in favor of going into executive session?
All in favor?
And John Griffith's in favor as well. Sorry, John. We're in executive session. Thank y'all for coming. Sorry, John.